So ADA has seen a nice bump to the upside following this move to the downside where we ended up reaching 61.86 cents. And on this move to the upside, you can see that we ended up testing some key levels, such as the 50 EMA and the 200 DMA. And here you can see that we ended up getting rejected at the 200 DMA, which then led to this move to the downside where we also failed to find support at the 50 EMA, which is slightly bearish. And with that being said, we are within oversold conditions on the stochastic RSI, and so we could see a reversal if the bulls regain control of the market and drive the price of ADA up towards high highs. And within this move, what I can see is we ended up seeing a corrective move play out made up of a WXY structure. So what I'll do very quickly is check to see if that Y wave met the typical requirements, which is typically a 1 to 1.226 retracement of the W wave. And yeah, here you can see that we ended up just about extending beyond the 1.236 retracement level. And so it looks like this WXY structure is now complete. And so ADA could potentially be within a corrective move to the downside, where we could see a 50 to 81.2% retracement of this wave structure here. And so once again, drawing in the fib tool, ADA could reach anywhere between 65.29 cents to 66.43 cents, which we already have done. And so it's possible that we see that reversal. And if that's the case, then what we could see is a bigger WXY structure forming, with this being the W wave, this being the X wave, and this being the Y wave. And here you can see that the Y wave will actually fall short of this local top at 70.72 cents. And so what we could then see is a bigger move to the downside. And if we extend beyond the 88.2% retracement level and the 100% retracement level, then it's possible that what we are forming is a bigger WXY structure, where rather than this being a W wave, this could be the W wave, where the W wave origin sits at 61.86 cents. And then we get a deeper move to the downside to complete the X wave, followed by a bigger move to the upside, where the Y wave could actually breach past the local top, and that would then trigger a change of character and a break of structure on smart money concept, further confirming that we are slightly bullish, and ADA can actually potentially tap into this region here, which I set up previously. And for this move to play out, ADA would need to trade anywhere between, in fact, if I adjust this, so that X wave would typically retrace anywhere between that 50 to 18.2% retracement level. So ADA would need to trade between 62.55 cents to 64.84 cents. And then we get to see that bounce to the upside. And here you can see that this key level that I marked out previously, which is the wave 1 origin, sits at 64.26 cents, which also sits within this region here. And so ideally, I'd like ADA to find support at this level and then see that bounce to the upside, where we then potentially break this local top. And if ADA was to breach past the 18.2% retracement level and the 100% retracement level, then it's possible that this move to the upside is now complete, and then we see that deeper move to the downside, where we then potentially break this low at 61.86 cents, further confirming that we're bearish, because that could then trigger a break of structure on smart money concept, and ADA can then potentially tap into this region between 55.46 cents to 58.12 cents, which is the Z wave target, where I'm currently tracking a WXYXZ structure, with this being the W wave made up of a WXY structure, and this being the X wave, this being the Y wave. So if I remove this, and we have a X wave where I was looking for the move to the upside to tap into this region between 71.57 cents to 72.9 cents, which we failed to do so, similar to what took place over here, which then ultimately led to this move to the downside. And so a similar scenario could play out, where we continue to see lower lows, and ADA can then potentially tap into this region here. And should that be the case, this Z wave would then be made up of a WXY structure, and ADA would then tap into this region here. So if I go on the 4-hour chart, what you can see is similar to the hourly chart, we ended up getting rejected at the 50 EMA, and that then led to this move to the downside. And you can see that on the stochastic RSI, we were overbought, but then the bears began to take control of the market, and that's reflected on the price chart, where you can see 3 consecutive red candlesticks. And you can see that we also have a weak low that's being signaled on smart money concept, and so we are still looking fairly bearish right now, and we could still potentially tap into this region here. Now, we did have the death cross event that took place, and again, that's reflected on the price chart, even though the email levels are a reflection of what has already taken place previously, which is this move to the downside. What you tend to see is a continuation on a reaction, where in this case, because a death cross is bearish, traders out there are selling their ADA and other crypto assets, which ultimately leads to a lower low, and it's looking likely that we could potentially tap into this region here. And as far as the daily chart goes, you can see that we are trading below both the 50 and 200 DMA, and we did have that death cross event that took place also, which is something I talked about previously. And again, that usually results in a continuation to the downside, and that tends to take place for an extended period of time. And even if ADA was to tap into this region, we will still be trading above this local bottom at 51.1 cents. And so we are still looking fairly bullish. And so ideally what I am looking at for is a bigger WXY structure. And if we were to breach past this region, then it's possible that we continue to see low lows and ADA can then potentially tap into this region here. But I am looking at for this move to take place first, as opposed to this move. But I'm not going to discount this scenario from playing out also. And so, yeah, that's just my update on Cardano ADA. Hopefully you found this useful. And if you did, then feel free to hit that like button. And if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Take it easy, people. Peace.